Hi there, Shadi. My name is Ellen, and I'll be correcting this essay for you. I'm happy to see that you signed up for an essay correction with us. That's great. It's so important to get feedback for your writing. So let's take a look at what you wrote. The topic you have is too much money is wasted on repairing old buildings that should be used not knock them down and build new ones. All right, I think there is some misunderstanding here. Something happened when you wrote it. I've seen this task before. I think the topic is too much money is wasted on repairing old buildings that should be knocked down to build new ones. Okay? I think that's what the topic is, if I remember this correctly. So let's see what you wrote. Each passing day, a number of city buildings are turning old, and sometimes damages occur. Some owners prefer to repair these properties, which cost money and effort, instead of demolishing them. In my opinion, knocking them down and building modern ones to adapt to the development of the area would be the best option. It should be singular, unless these buildings have been one of the heritage sites or they are important on the architectural level. Okay, I really like this introduction quite a bit, because you've mentioned that there's complexity to this, that it's not just a simple, okay, yeah, let's just knock them down. You gave us certain instances during which these should be preserved, and so I like that. This is an element, I have to say, of a higher level essay, when you can address the fact that an issue is not black and white and that it does have complexities. So I'm really happy you did that. One thing I would like to do here is just change a little bit of the grammar. Okay, so in particular in this last sentence, so unless these buildings have been declared one of, or how about this, have been declared a heritage site, that would be even better, or they are important on an architectural level. So just those two things. Other than that, I thought it was a wonderful first paragraph. Okay, I like that you stated your opinion. That's so important to do in your introduction. You did it, so good. So let's move on. Firstly, the new method of destroying and construction won't take long periods like in the past, especially with the advancement of technology and devices used in the process, which in turn saves money and effort. All right, I have to read that sentence again because something interesting happened here. Let's try it one more time. Firstly, the new method of destroying and construction won't take long periods like in the past, especially with the advancement of technology and devices used in the process, which in turn saves money and effort. All right, grammatically, there are some issues here, and there are also some word choices that I would like to change. First of all, let's start with this. We don't use contractions in task 2 ever. It's always the word fully written out because the contraction sounds really informal and we don't want that. Okay, and this really seemed kind of strange to me, this destroying and construction. You could have said destruction and reconstruction, maybe, okay, or how about demolition and then construction? That might have worked, but having this ing here felt really rather strange to me. Okay, and then let me try it again now. So firstly, the new method of demolition and construction will not take long like in the past, especially with the advancement of technology and devices used in the process, which in turn save money and effort because it's advancement of technology and devices. So two things there. I still think the sentence is a little awkward. I think you could have split it into two just to make it read a little cleaner. All right, let me see if I can come up with a better way for that. Firstly, the new method of destruction and reconstruction does not take long nowadays. Full stop. This is because with the advancement of technology and devices used in the process, which in turn save money and effort. Okay. For example, 4 towers of 114 levels were demolished in just 10 seconds under high safety conditions in the Al Mina area in Abu Dhabi, the capital of the United Arab Emirates. Okay. Furthermore, building a new tower can be completed in approximately 1 year, which is the same time period for repairing an old one. Okay, this is fine. It's a little underdeveloped, but I see here now that you have 3 body paragraphs. We'll talk about that towards the end. So let's see what else you said. Secondly, constructing modern buildings is an essential step towards eco-friendly metropolitan cities. Some features like double glazed facades and solar panels, which cannot be presented in ancient buildings, which cannot be, I don't know, adapted to, maybe, and not ancient. Ancient is like 2,000 years old. So maybe historical, or maybe antique buildings. I don't know if we can say that for a building, antique. But definitely a different word, not ancient. So double glazed facades and solar panels, which cannot be adapted to old buildings, are important factors to reduce energy consumption and produce electricity throughout the daytime. Recently, through the design stage of the building, architects were able to develop a technique called solar tubes to bring daylight through the whole building, which is also an energy efficient source. Okay, this for me feels off topic. All right, you're going into a totally different direction here. So I didn't want this here. This felt for me like you were just going off on a tangent. So you want to stay away from this kind of thing. What you could have done instead is talk about how there is just so much you can do with an old building. There's just so much adaptation and so much, you know, kind of renovation that you can do to it to make it eco-friendly to the point where it's not worth it. Sometimes, you know, maybe you're just better off just reconstructing the building. If you had tied this back to that idea, okay, so like that such a design or such a technique could not be used in an old building due to its construction materials. Therefore, you know, this is why we need to create new buildings. Then you would have been okay. But you stopped short of saying that. And so it feels like you're just going off into a tangent, and you don't want that. You don't want to have you don't want to start going off topic. Now let's move on. In addition, the legislation of buildings, S, in most cities, lowercase c, cities, municipalities, no, just, you know what, pick one, either cities or municipalities. And because it's legislation, that's your noun, this has to be has. So let's try it one more time. In addition, the legislation of buildings in most municipalities has changed. While in the past the building permit was only for 3 or 4 levels of building, today it is authorized to build a tower. Actually, this could be the solution of the accommodation problems and hence reduction in the rental prices. This again is off topic, okay? They're not asking you about the problems of accommodation and the problems in rental prices. So all of this needs to be redone here, okay? This, let's see. So I think actually this whole paragraph is really relevant. Okay, wow, you have another paragraph. Let's see. However, some establishments have heritage aspects and they are under the protection of the government for their importance on the historical level and the tourism industry, such as chapels and castles. In order to maintain and repair these irreplaceable buildings, it is a must to allocate some funds and donations. At the end, they are the nation's cultural identity. In conclusion, while people may vary in their views regarding this concern, I think that totally new buildings in the city are the most important factor in the advancement of a society. Okay, so I see a lot of wonderful things in your writing. I see a nice natural flow. I see good language, high level, a lot of very positive things. Some, you know, very nice vocabulary, some great ideas, but there are some things that do need to be fixed here. So one thing is that you need to know that here we recommend a 4-paragraph structure. So an introduction, a conclusion, and in between 2 body paragraphs. You had 4 here. Now, not only did you have 4, but you decided to talk about the complexities of this issue, which I commended you on in the beginning. But what you really did is you had 3 paragraphs in favor. All of this was in favor of new buildings. All right, and then you had this little itty bitty paragraph talking about, you know, maybe we should restore them. So, you don't have to get obsessive about this, especially since this is your concession, but I do think you needed to maybe lessen some of this and talk a little bit more about this. I want you to look at the band descriptors for task 2 under task achievement, and you'll look at the band 6. It says presents all sides of the essay, but some sides are more fully covered than others. And that's exactly what you've done here. You've really spent a lot of time talking about why we should build new buildings, but then you spent a tiny little bit of time talking about this. And I think you needed to balance this a little better. I would even suggest that this come first, because typically this is what we do with a concession paragraph. We put it directly after our introduction, and then we spend the rest of the essay arguing in favor of the side we support. Okay, so that's another thing. However, the side that you actually support, it had a lot of irrelevant information. I told you I thought this should have been gone. I don't think you needed this at all. I didn't think it was relevant. Okay. And then a lot of the stuff here, where was it? Oh yeah, here. This was absolutely irrelevant too. So a lot of this could have been removed, and you still were well over the word count. So even if you had gotten rid of all these things that I told you were irrelevant, that's 85 words. You were still, well over 300 words. So that was fine. Okay, you would have been just okay with that. You need to remember, you need to kind of stick a little more carefully to the topic so that you don't get off topic. In other words, you need to plan your essay before you write. Okay, jot down some ideas, but always as you're jotting down those ideas, check to make sure while you're jotting them down that they do actually correspond to the question that you've been asked. Okay? In any case, these are all things that we'll talk about when you sign up to the course. I'd love to see you sign up, whether it's for the online course or for more essay corrections with us. This is all feedback you'll get from us throughout whichever program you pick. I would like to see you do something, though. You might find that the essay corrections are what you need, because we'll talk about structure and we'll talk about task achievement. We'll talk about all the areas, grammar, vocabulary, and so forth. So see what you can do. I'd like to continue working because I think that you could do really well in the exam, but you do need a little guidance to kind of fix some of these weaknesses with the writing, okay? Hopefully we'll see you on the course. I look forward to it, so good luck to you.